Hey YouTube, it's Mike Peng Gangster, and today we're going to be doing a little session of Rush Cash and explaining you why it's good to play on Ggpoker, for example, because there's particular, well, for people that don't know what Rush Cash is, it's like a Zoom poker, it's like fast poker for Texas Hold'em for people that don't know, right? So, for example, like I've been playing the NL 100. For people that don't know what NL 100 is, it's basically 50 cents a hundred, 50 cents a hundred, wow, 50 cents a dollar, and you basically walk in with $100. I like to walk in with the maximum stack size, 100 big blinds. Now, I did look at my stats for my last 2 months of play. I have 23,000 hands played in my last 2 months of rush poker. Unfortunate, nothing crazy to look at. I am positive about $700 here. I didn't run that great the first half of that basically those 23,000 hands. Lucky enough, I am bringing it back up. Plus the particular session that I'm playing right here, I'm actually up almost $400. Okay, so we're running good. Of course, the reason why I like to play this is because, for example, there's this thing called Fish Buffet, which you accumulate points by playing the game. So, for example, I need 60,000 points. Once I get 60,000 points, I get to spin this thing where it would appear right here, and I have a possibility of like either getting a $60, $80, $120, all the way to $360, depending what you basically pull, right? You spin, basically. Anyways, the reason why I'm going to show you this today is because give you guys, last time I showed you guys a bit of the spin and goals. Now let me show you a bit of the rush cash. Sorry about this, guys. I have to drink. And make you understand a little bit why it's fun to play on this particular site and why it's good. Now, for example, of course, this is always six-handed for people that have never played this. And if you'll notice, on every particular person, you have four stats that show, okay? Well, actually five if you count the hands. So when you look at the stats, for people that don't know, so you have the VP, you have the PRF, you have the ATS, and you have 3-bet, okay? So VIP is basically, in a way, let's resume it in a way of saying that VIP is like the amount of hands the opponent is playing. Okay, so whenever he has a very high one, that means he's playing a lot. Okay, the stat right next to it where it says PFR, that is a stat that explains pre-flop aggression. So is he someone that is basically creating the action by starting the action, I mean, or is he someone, for example, that just basically has a high VIP because he's just calling the action, right? So that's what you're looking at. Now, for example, like this particular person, he has a 30% VIP with a 20% aggression, okay? So he's defending basically my open here with the tens. Strange that he leads here. Now we're not folding, of course. We're definitely not folding here. So we're gonna call here with the tens. We're just never folding the tens there. We're gonna walk into a lot of twos here though, but we're also gonna walk into a lot of, for example, like eights, a lot of draws that you can have. Like now he may have picked up the diamond draw. I could bet here, but based on someone that has a high VIP, I'd rather just check because we do have a showdown hand. We beat his eights, we beat his six. We don't beat the twos for sure. As you can see, we beat the six. If we bet there, does he call? Most likely, since he has a pretty decent, pretty high VIP. But I don't want to take the chance because, like I said, if I have showdown value on a board like that, I don't want to like bet and get 3-bet on the river, because if he does 3-bet me on the river there, I gotta fold every time because it's just basically telling me he has either a 2 or he has the flush draw, right? Or he maybe hit that king on the river. So there's just no point, right? So let's continue with the stats. Now, you have the other stat where it says ATS. Now, ATS is attempt to steal blinds. So for example, that's usually the cutoff and the button, okay? So we are going to open up here with King Queen. So when someone has a very high ATS and you have a very good hand, you could actually exploit that by 3-betting those type of people when they basically open up on the cutoff for the button, because it just particularly means that they're opening up very often in those position, and they're trying to basically just steal the blinds, right? So if you have a very strong hand in those type of position, when someone, for example, like I'm in position to steal right now, you know, but I'm not gonna do it with 10. I'm not gonna do it with 10-4, you know. But for example, like let's say this guy is in position and this guy is in position, right? So this guy has a 45%, which is not very high. It's okay. Okay, well, nothing happens in this hand, but this one here, you had an 89%. So 89% is very, very high. That means he's basically stealing. He's opening up every time he's in position. So that's the type of guy you could bet, definitely 3-bet. We get pocket tens again. So for example, like again, man, nothing happens. Too bad. This guy had a very low one. He had a 41%, so it wasn't very big. But I was gonna give you guys an example there. If he opened up, I was gonna 3-bet in there. Not for me to show you scenarios here. I would have to eventually pick up some hands to show you some stuff. But the thing is that what you're looking at is you're looking at these stats. Also the 3-bet stat, for example. That's an important stat to look at. But not to like basically judge only based on the fact that some people may have a high one. Doesn't mean that they're just being aggressive to be aggressive. It could be that they're 3-betting correctly. You know what I mean? So you have to basically combine two stats. Look at his VP and look at his 3-bet. So if his VP is low and his 3-bet is high, he's most likely 3-betting correctly. We're not going to defend there, of course. 10-4. I just hope I pick up some sort of hand that's a bit of action. And it's not about if I win the hand or lose the hand. It's the more to show you an example of a scenario, but we're just not picking up anything in the right spot. Again, when you're playing this particular mode, what you're looking for is strong hands always on the button and cutoff. Those are the best two positions to basically make money for people that understand like position, because you're last to talk. So being last to talk is very, very powerful in the Texas Hold'em game. So for anybody that wants to improve their game, try to focus on opening up those positions and try to lay down hands like 5-3 suited in the middle position or under the gun, because I know a lot of people like to play these suited type of hands. There's times to play them, but there's also times to just basically avoid them. And there's certain position that you want to play your 5-3 diamonds like on the button, right? But when you're like either under the gun or middle position, you don't want to open up with a 5-3 of diamonds, because you're just basically asking for trouble. So try to avoid those type of scenarios. Also, this is a perfect example here, because Queen 10. I notice a lot of people like to play Queen 10. Let me explain something about Queen 10. Queen 10 is a shit hand. Okay? Queen 10 is a fold. Just fold Queen 10. Queen 10 is not a good hand. Every other hand that you get that has like gappers, that you want to call them, and they're off suit, you want to just basically get rid of them, especially when you're out of position like there in the small blind. You don't want to be playing those type of hands. You're basically dominated by a lot. Now this is a good example. I have an ace in the big blind with someone in the small blind opening up. Okay, of course I am not folding when I'm in the big blind with an ace, especially the small blind versus big blind. Now I do hit my pair of fours, which is a good, most likely is the best hand right now, and I also have position. Okay, so I don't want to scare him off too much, but I would like to get the pot right here, right? So we are going to 3-bet him here when he opens up, because he was going to bet pretty much any flop. Hopefully he doesn't hit the jack, because if he hit the jack, of course he's sticking around, but he may have hit the 3 and 4, and he's also going to be sticking around, right? Now he does not hit none of those cards, so he ends up folding. So we basically take advantage of our position there with having an ace. Of course, for people don't understand, whenever you're in the button, in the big blind, and you have an ace and small blind is raising, you should never be folding. Okay, you should either be calling or 3-betting. Unfortunately, in that particular hand, I didn't want to 3-bet because the guy's ATS was not very high. It was like 40-something%. So it doesn't mean that he steals the blinds very often. It just means that most likely he had some decent type of hand, and he decided to basically open. We are gonna see this guy is very aggressive, and he plays a lot at 38%. So Most likely. Okay, well, he doesn't do it, but there's a possibility with a hand like that if I open, he 3-bets me, I'm just gonna fold my 10-9 there. I don't want to play out of position versus aggressive players that I like to call lunatics. When you see all the stats are in green, like this guy here for sure, they're all in the green. Well, not really. This guy only has 3 hands played, but in an example, out of the 3 hands played, this guy played 2 of them. So you can't really judge this guy because he only has 3 hands played. But in that particular opponent, the one before, all the stats were in the green. That means he's just someone clicking buttons, you know. So again, we'll look for another hand here. Give you guys a little quick. So what are you exactly are you looking for? What's the purpose of this video? The purpose of this video is that showing you, for example, okay, this is a good example. I got an ace. I'm small blind. Okay, and this guy has very high like 3-bet, attempt to steal, VIP, everything. So he's opening up with a lot of different hands. Okay, having an ace in the small blind is a good type of hand to 3-bet these type of players, because they seem to like open up with a lot of garbage. So ace I is good a lot. Now I will bet the flop. I would hit the. Now the reason why I'm betting the flop there is because if you 3-bet, okay, and you check, you basically just showing weakness. You can't do that. If you're 3-betting someone that's very aggressive, you have to bet the flop. You just have to bet the flop. If you don't bet the flop, the fact that the guy is very aggressive, he's most likely going to be betting on the turn, and you most likely, if you don't hit, you're going to have to fold because you don't want to basically be bluff catching someone that plays very, very ridiculous, right? So betting the flop there. Oh, what happened here? Did I lose connection? Okay, I lost connection there for a second. Oh, what happened here? I lost connection there. That sucks. I wanted to play that hand. I was suited. But yeah, so that's a perfect example of like taking advantage. For example, like a particular opponent like that. Again, if you're gonna 3-bet that opponent, especially like in out of position, like for example in the small blind there, you're going to have to bet the flop. No matter what the flop is, you're going to have to bet it. It's the only way you're gonna win that hand versus those particular opponents. Okay, so this is the last end of the video. We have pocket queens. We're under the gun. We're hoping for some action here, of course. We do get a guy that calls us with 33% VIP. We do hit a set. Now, he does have position. Again, remember what I told you? Whenever someone plays a lot, you want to be betting when you open or when you 3-bet. Now, in this particular case, we're gonna do the opposite versus him because we want him to be bluffing. Right? Because now I don't want to give him a next free card, so we're gonna go big here. Actually, you know what? We're gonna go over pot. The reason why I was checking that, I was hoping that he was gonna bet when I checked because he was in position. He doesn't. If he has 10 jack here, we're just basically losing our hand because I'm not folding versus this guy no matter what. Unfortunately, we don't get the action that we wanted for the last hand here, but anyway, that's just a little quick session of showing you guys a bit of a rush poker, how that works and stuff like that, and what to look at. Like I said, for people that are not too experienced, try to play the button or maybe the cutoff. The cutoff is the position right before the button. Try to be in position with strong hands. Mix it up also with those type of position. For example, when you're playing button or cutoff, and you're the type of guy that likes to play with those type of hands like 7-8 suited, 8-9 suited type of hands, those are good positions to play those type of hands because you have a lot of advantage being in position with those type of hands. Where I try to avoid completely those type of hands under the gun, middle position. You just avoid them. I know they look nice when you look at them. You know, when you look at an 8-9 suit, it just looks nice, pretty, and all that. If you're not in position with those type of hands, try to avoid them. Try to only open up. Sorry about that. Try to only open up with strong hands under the gun. As you're getting better at the game, you know, you start like having a bigger range based on your experience with the game. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.